put in to its short time run. Yeah. Why, hello there YouTube, and welcome back to 31, the free slashers. So, as I explained in the first video that I'm reviewing every Halloween, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street movie ever made, and I'm reviewing them all in the chronological order they were all released in. So, yeah, today we are on day 2 and we are reviewing Friday the 13th. Yes, written by Victor Miller and directed by Sean S. Cunningham, starring Betsy Palmer, Adrian King, Henry Crosby, Laurie Bartran, Mark Nelson, Joanne Taylor, Robbie Morgan, and a young Kevin Bacon. So this is a slasher, the first in the Friday the 13th franchises. So again, if you've seen this, quick rundown of the plot. A boy drowns in 1957, Jason Voorhees. A year later, 1958, some counsellors get killed, and we see it from the killer's perspective in the opening. And then the camp tries to get reopened again in 1980, but in the events of the first film, we see people get picked off one by an unknown killer, till the final girl, Alice, who is the virgin, she finds the killer is none other than Mrs. Pamela Voorhees, and she's killing people to stop the camp from ever being opened, and she's got mental problems with Jason in her mind. But is Jason really dead? Yeah, we find out later in the sequels that he is alive. But anyway, right now we are reviewing the first film. So, let's get on to my likes and dislikes about this one. First of all, the likes. I like this film. I like that this had no supernatural elements to it. This actually was meant to just be like a revenge thriller, or at least a thriller, psychological thriller. But look where we are now, Like I say, nearly 4 decades later, and we still love this franchise. It's still being talked about, still being watched, still being praised for its sequels. So yeah, I like the character development in Alice, played by Adrian King, and I also like the character of Pamela Voorhees, Jason's mother. And in this, Jason is not the killer, as you should already know. Jason does not feature as the killer in this one. he takes over in the sequels. So, you know, this was probably one of the first Friday films, but one of the first, to my knowledge, one of the first slasher films to have a female antagonist, which was Mrs Voorhees. And yeah, I get her motivation, you know. Her son drowned and died from irresponsible camp counsellors that were having sex whilst he was drowning, and I feel for her. I get why she does what she does. I mean, she's a bit insane, but, you know, it's understandable for me. But yeah, I like Betsy Palmer. She puts a great performance into her role, but she's not actually in the film much. I mean, yeah, she's like the killer in the film, but she doesn't get as much screen time as all the other characters. We sort of see her in the final act, but my God, she makes those moments count until she gets her head chopped off at the end. And if you look carefully, you'll see her hands are very hairy man hands. Those are actually Tom Savini's hands, because Tom Savini did the effects for this film, and he stepped in as the hand body double of Pamela when she had her head chopped off. So there's a fun fact there for you. Yeah, I like this film. It was, the kills at the time were probably something that had not been done before. Well, the kills were definitely, well, let's just say this was the early days of the slasher. I mean, yeah, the slasher had started like a couple decades early with Peeping Tom and Psycho, but, the 80s is where the slasher genre really started to find its roots and started its golden days. Yeah, so, yeah, there were some good kills in this, and, yeah, it had a great soundtrack, and, a good music score, that's it. And, yeah, this was quite a fast-paced film. It's about, how long is this film? It can't be on very long. It's about 95 minutes. So they managed to get a lot in to its short time run. Yeah. Excuse me. It has a good opening scene. And then it goes to like some sort of like coming of age drama, like people getting the camp ready to open for the summer. Of course it doesn't open for the summer because people get killed. Yeah, and we see them being teenagers, having some, and when it's night time, because they don't have any responsibilities with the camp yet, they decide to get stoned, play strip Monopoly, and it's pissing it down outside. And we all get the cliches which we now see a lot in horror, the killer is, the killer kills, the virgin survives, you have sex, you die, all that stuff. So yeah, there's a lot going on in this. Of course, the ending, we also remember that iconic ending where it's the next day, the bad nightmare's over, Alice is the sole survivor, she sees help, the police arrive, till we see Jason jump out of the water and drag her under. And Jason in this, he had the smallest of screen time. He was only featured in a flashback where we see in Mrs Voorhees' mind where Jason was drowning, and then we see him in towards the final shot where he jumps out of the lake all rotted and decomposed. And he was played by Ari Lehman. So Jason did appear in this, he was in it, but he wasn't like the killer. And that bit where we see Jason jump out of the water and drag her under, that's the whole dream sequence. But, of course, when she asks about the boy, is he dead? And they say there was no boy, Alice says that he's still out there. That sets things in motion for a long franchise where Jason takes centre stage. Yeah, so I liked this one. I like the cinematography and I like the kills. My dislikes, I guess the first act was a bit slow, a bit of a slow burn, but they were building up to it. We did get to see a few kills around the start, such as a girl get her throat slit open by an unknown killer and she never made it to the camp. And then when night comes, that's when things do take off. That's when things kick off. You know, so a little dislike there where it's a bit slow, but then really picks up, you know, on Camp Crystal Lake. Okay, so final thoughts and ratings for this one. Friday the 13th is my favourite slasher franchise of all, and yeah, I like the first one, but I love the sequels a lot more. But this one, I do like that it started off the franchise, because if it weren't for this one, we wouldn't have got the shit to the sequels we got. Yeah, I will admit the sequels did get, like Nightmare on Elm Street, did get a bit daft towards the end, but, you know, I enjoyed the first half of this franchise. Like, the first 6 installments, for me, I loved. Anyway, yeah, my final thoughts, ratings, for this one, I'm going to give Friday the 13th, you know what, I'm giving this 3.5. Yeah, I'll give it a 3.5 machetes out of 5. 3.5 machetes out of 5 for Friday the 13th. So, this has been 31 day 2. So, join me tomorrow for day 3, where I will review Friday the 13th part 2. So, yeah, if you like this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to share with your friends. Please feel free to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and to hit that notification bell. And to share with your friends. All of my social media links are down below in the description, so be sure to check all that out. And you can watch yesterday's video, linked at the end of this video, or in the box above. I'll probably link them at the end of the video. But yeah, you know, we're not too far in yet. This is only day 2, so you've only got one video to catch up on, really, if you just start watching this series. You know, and it's going to be throughout October. So anyway, yeah, till tomorrow, don't have nightmares.